because you know in a moment it could all...
You can study for a half hour. It doesn't take a half-hour break to recharge your batteries. For most people, about 5 minutes. And this is where you go away, do something fun for 5 minutes. Call a friend, talk to a child, talk to a parent, a roommate. Enjoy some music. Do something you enjoy and actually say, this is my treat for having studied for 30 minutes effectively. Go back and here's what happens. Your efficiency is nearly 100%. Study a half hour, take a break. Study a half hour, study a half hour. Now, had she done that over a course of 6 hours, she would have got about 5.5 hours of serious studying and about a half hour of total break time.
You tricked me. Tricked you? No, I saved you.
I'm going to tell you how to study when you're exhausted. Take this from someone who's chronically tired, and I use these methods and they actually work. The first tip I have is taking a coffee nap. And what a coffee nap is when you chug some coffee. I like to just chug some espresso and then fall asleep, take a nap for like 20 minutes max, wake up, and you feel so energized. While you're sleeping, the caffeine has time to kick in, so once you're awake, the caffeine is in full effect. The second tip is the 5-minute rule. The 5-minute rule is basically when you say you're going to start something and you only do it for 5 minutes. Most of the time, starting work is the hardest part. When you tell yourself you're only going to study for 5 minutes, you trick yourself into thinking the task won't be that big of a deal, and usually once you've started, you're more likely to keep going. This third tip is using active recall. Instead of rereading and writing down your notes, you quiz yourself over and over again. This method is good for when you're tired because you're actually using your brain instead of just reading things over and over again. And I like to quiz myself using flashcards and multiple choice questions. I find this really easy to practice if you upload all of your notes onto a study service website. So I use this website. This is what it's called. Once I've uploaded all my notes, I use the flashcard section and I'll go through this, or I just use the multiple choice section. Anyways, let me know if these tips help and follow for more study tips.
How to study when tired after school. The 3-2-1 method. Here's how it works. 3 power minutes. Set a timer for 3 minutes and choose one high energy task like doing jumping jacks or dancing to a song. 2. Breathing minutes. Take 2 minutes for deep breathing exercises that help you relax. 1. Focus minute. Spend 1 minute mentally preparing for focused studying. This is how my grades improved when I learned
your homework first as soon as you get it. I'm talking about if your teacher assigns some homework on Monday, try your best to finish it by Monday night or by Tuesday at the very least. Because when you do this, you literally have the entire week off to do whatever you want. So do your homework first and don't procrastinate at the last minute to do it. This will not only save you a bunch of time during the week, but it'll also make your life much more relaxed and easier.
Popular study methods, are they overrated or underrated? Pomodoro technique implements fixed intervals of studying and breaks. Having harsh schedules to work in sometimes disrupts your flow. Let's say you scheduled a break after 25 minutes, but at the 25-minute mark, you were making amazing progress. I say definitely just go with the flow. Follow your brain and body and take breaks when you need it, not when they tell you to. Overrated. Blurting method. Without looking, write down what you remember and figure out what you don't know. Study and repeat. An amazing way to check for any gaps in knowledge. Underrated. Highlighting notes. To be honest, I am an aesthetic notesaholic, but in reality, it does not really do anything to activate the mind. Fun, but definitely overrated. Flashcards paired with the Leitner system. One of the best study methods for memorizing information, both short-term and long-term. Might take a longer time than the other methods, but the pros outweigh the cons. Underrated. Feynman technique. Pretend you're teaching a topic to a child. Like the blurting method, it'll help you find any gaps in knowledge and allow space for you to correct yourself. Underrated. Last-minute studying. So underrated. Psych! Although the info may be fresh in your brain, it is not durable for the long term and you'll probably forget everything after taking your test. Not the best outcome. Overrated.
How to actually remember what you've studied.
Here's how to study last minute for the exam that you waited last minute to study for. Depending on how much time you have left, I would recommend breaking up your study session into 3 phases. I would hope you have more time than this, but to make it easier to explain, let's say you have 3 hours left. The first hour, or phase 1, is dedicated to content review. Compile all of your notes, past homeworks, quizzes, tests, handouts, whatever you got, and start going through them one by one. Important details you might want to write on another paper is street facts that you have to memorize, like equations, definitions, dates, etc. This will be your first hour. The second hour, or phase 2, test yourself. It's no good to do all this review to not even test to see if you remember any of them. There are different ways to test yourself, like redoing your past assignments or tests. You can find some online, or simply just blurting it out loud. Just test yourself however you feel and take note of your struggle areas. Now, the last hour, phase 3, refine. Study your struggle areas that you took note of, the straight facts that you have to memorize, and nothing else. Your brain might convince you to do this because it's what's comfortable, but do not study what you already know. It's a complete waste of time, and you barely have any left. Change whatever you like about this routine. At the end of the day, everybody studies different, but if you have no idea where to start, this is a basic study session outline if you're last minute studying. Anyways, good luck!
I had a 95 in biology in high school, so steal my study method. I promise you I wasn't born smart because my Asian parents almost gave up on me. But then I made a comeback and developed my own study system. So here's how to do it. First step is that you have to be active during class and not just zoning out. If your teacher is explaining stuff, don't just passively listen, take notes, do the scribble method, and actively use your brain. Process what your teacher is saying and then write down questions that you have. After class, you should have a good understanding of things, but you can't really recall it. Now we gotta practice active recall and building that neural pathway. I try to do this immediately after class or literally the next day. This is because of the forgetting curve. It's the easiest to practice recall and reinforcement of the material if you do it on the same day. We can go into detail on this for another video. First step I would do is I would cover the notes, look at the title and the diagram, and try to write down or say out loud everything I remember on that particular slide. Now you're practicing that action of retrieving information and strengthening that neural pathway. If I don't know it, I go back, review the slides, and then cover it up and then do the same thing. Every single time you recall that information, it becomes easier and easier to remember. You can also incorporate this with spaced repetition. Biology works great with this method, which we can talk about in another video. And after I do the exact same thing for all these slides, I jump right into practice questions to actually practice using that information that I know. With practice questions, you're testing not only your recall, but if you understand and can apply the material. Once I do a couple, I check the answers, and the ones that I did wrong, I go back and review them again. Hope that was helpful. Follow me for more.
You scored at the top of your class because you studied for 3 hours the night before your exam. Or so you thought. The person next to you only studied for 2 hours, but they still did better than you? How did that happen? After class, you put your notes away and never looked at it again. When the person next to you got home after class, they immediately pulled out a calendar, put a sticker on that day, and decided to use the 2-3-5-7 study method. After counting 2 days, they put a sticker. Then they counted 3 days, put a sticker. 5 days, sticker, and the same after 7, sticker. What they just did was mark each day that they would have a short study session. On the first session, they studied for an hour because the information was still new. The second session lasted 30 minutes because the information was familiar. On the third session, they studied for 20 minutes, focusing on their difficult areas. And while they only took up 10 minutes to study the day before their exam, it was your first time picking up your notes since you took them. You spent the whole 3 hours relearning the materials that you forgot. But because you didn't use spaced repetition, like the person sitting next to you, you blanked out the moment the teacher handed you the exam. So that's how.
I'm gonna show you how to stay so focused while studying that it literally feels illegal. And if you've seen any videos from my channel, you'll know that I study several hours a day because I'm pursuing a double major at Harvard. So here's how I stay focused. Number one, it's got to be said, and even if you click away, the truth has got to be told, and that is to put your phone away. You can lie to yourself all you want, but trust, your phone is your biggest distraction. You don't even have to be touching it. When the notifications ring and you take a look at it, it is distracting you and you get out of your flow state. Put it on do not disturb and out of your reach so you don't feel tempted to look at it. Okay, now that's out of the way, we can move on to step number 2, and that is to keep your studying organized. I can't tell you how hard it is if you have to like switch from your iPad and then to your laptop and then to another tab, or from Google Docs to Google Drive. It is psychologically proven that there is so much resistance from doing something that requires even 3 seconds of your time, you won't do it. How I got over that is I now use an organized hub where all of my studying takes place. And of course, there's some assignments that are just gonna have to be on Canvas, but when it comes to just studying for finals, everything I do is basically in Studyfetch now. I have all of my notes and materials in there, so if I need to pull up any note, it's all in there. If I want to do practice tests or practice problems, I make them on Studyfetch and I grade them on there. And Sparky, who's literally my own personal tutor, is also on there and helps me with any questions that I have. If I want to review flashcards, if I want to play games that help me study, it is all in that one place, so I can stay focused and I don't have to switch to a different part of my brain whenever I want to do something new. So let me just show you how I do that. Okay, so this is Studyfetch. As you can see, literally everything is in here. I have so many study sets. All of my classes are in here. If I want to look at my notes, all of my lectures are inside here. I will just pull it up and I have a summary generated for me and I can ask Sparky any questions that I have. If I want to do practice problems, I go here to practice. I have tests. I already made tests before. And after I finish my test, I can chat about this question and ask Sparky why I got it wrong. It's just so streamlined and easy to study on here. It just makes the whole studying process so convenient. So those are my best tips when it comes to staying focused. And if you have any other block that you feel like is stopping you, let me know in the comments and I can share a solution for that. But I hope this helped and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
She's got a C average, which means she's either lazy or stupid. I can work with either. Frankly, sometimes stupid is easier. I can scare the stupid out of you, but the lazy runs deep.